what MassChallenge FinTech does, specifically in terms of trying to help organize and bring the right stakeholders to the table is critical.
Being able to work with MassChallenge and work with the great partner that we had, being able to associate ourselves, with those types of organizations is incredibly helpful. We talk sometimes about innovation theater at some of these large companies, and that's certainly not the case with MassChallenge. Folks who signed up for it, clearly want to get something out of it.
Our firm has incredible resources at its disposal, but by definition, no one person or company can be the best at everything. So exploring innovation externally through our relationship with MassChallenge will keep our firm plugged into a wide range of new ideas and approaches to solving our business problems.
You're creating something better, more efficient, cleaner, cheaper, and you're doing it in a such lucid, clean, and elegant manner that it's hard to believe life after the fact, why it was ever so inefficient to begin with. I think that's what entrepreneurship is about.
A year ago, the entire program sort of got flipped on its head. This year's program, instead of sort of, shying away from that, really leaned into it and actually came up with, I think a set of products and services that really will sort of help lead us into sort of the new normal as we emerge from the pandemic.
We've seen a lot of people struggle this year. To the extent that technology can help bring financial wellness to broader swaths of the population in this country and globally. To me, it seems like a pretty critical mission.
By 2053, African Americans are projected to have a negative net worth. By 2073, Latinos are projected to have a negative net worth. And yet, kids who have savings accounts in their name are 6 times more likely to go to college and 4 times more likely to own stocks by the time they're young adults. So if we want to change America, we have to remove the barbed wire around financial literacy and financial education. We've got to change how we are approaching the solutions that we bring to Americans and to kids and to families.
And I think people are really invested and interested in learning about taking charge of their financial future in a way that they hadn't before, not because they weren't interested, but because they couldn't sort of put it together themselves in the same way.
Technology is great. It's doing a lot to automate and make life easier for people. But financial services at the core is about human interaction. Companies that were human first in nature are really trying to push us to not disintermediate, not disrupt, but truly empower and enable humans to deliver better experiences.
Our well-being is multifaceted. It's everything from my physical well-being to my mental well-being to financial well-being. So I think if we're, as partners, can continue to focus on this and zero in on this connectivity between health and wealth, we're in a nice position as an industry to make a difference for the consumers.
We can get really comfortable just kind of knowing what we know, but I think that there's just a tremendous opportunity here to kind of go into the unknown. We need to continue to push the envelope on innovation, work with startups that meet our customers' ever-changing needs.
Great. Thank you, everyone, for taking a moment and watching that. So without further ado, we can dive into the presentation here. Just want to make sure, can everyone see the presentation? Cool, I'm seeing a bunch of thumbs up. So to dive in, within MassChallenge, we are a global network of innovation programs from all over the world. Within our headquarters in Boston, we run a few different programs, one of them being MassChallenge FinTech, which is bringing us here today. The goal of MassChallenge FinTech is to support later stage enterprise-ready entrepreneurs in the opportunity to connect with enterprises within the financial space, because we believe that innovators like yourselves will unlock the future of finance. Now, within the program, what are some of the goals that we're looking to work towards? And ultimately, how can we create a program that enables you to work directly with these enterprises? Well, first off, we want to work with entrepreneurs within digital finance that have less than 10 million in funding and revenue, but can be located anywhere throughout the world. So I noticed we had a couple entrepreneurs, or one entrepreneur in particular who was in Tokyo, which is really cool, and a few other locations too. So this program is fully tailored to supporting all sorts of solutions throughout the world. And the way that we do that is we want to make sure that we connect your product or service to those enterprises that we worked with. In terms of engagement throughout the program, it's important that you have at least one person engaging throughout the program because you'll be working closely with these enterprises, and that's going to take up a little bit of bandwidth. Now, the program at large, the benefits of being involved, the core piece that you've probably seen through a couple of our emails, as well as through our application landing page and website, is our network of partner industry leading organizations. The reason why this is a great resource for you is because in order to be accepted into the program, you would be receiving an offer from at least one of these partners. They want to ultimately be working with you on a demonstration project and work through those outcomes. And that is what that offer entails. Now, as we go into the program in particular, the biggest emphasis is on our goals and milestones process. That is breaking down the engagement that you have set forth with your partner into monthly milestones and overall program goals, so our team can best support you and the enterprises towards working together. Now, outside of that specific tailored engagement, we also do put together a couple of what we call evidence-based curriculum pieces, as we want to best support you to be enterprise ready. So whether that be fundraising support, legal support, compliance initiatives, we want to make sure that you are in the best position to work with those enterprises and get towards that goal of scaling. And as a result, we can then be able to see measurable outcomes, seeing revenue increase, funding increase, job creation, and ultimately supporting you with a network of community experts enables us to further see those measurable outcomes. Now, at a glance from our program from last year, so we had 30 startups go through our program and 18 pilots were generated just alone in the program. 115 million funding were raised throughout the program, as well as 27 million was generated in terms of revenue of the companies that participated in the 2021 program. So we do, again, a lot of work towards quantifying and working with you to make sure that we track the benefits, because we want to make sure that we're creating an ecosystem that enables these to occur. Now, kind of to talk about that enablement, we've actually gone through now 4 cycles of the FinTech program and going on to our 5th. And we've, over the course of that time, accelerated over 55 startups, created over 850 jobs, as well as raised 245 million in funding and 74 across all of those startups. So a really huge, impactful opportunity for the entrepreneurs that participate in our program. But it's really cool, and it's a great honor and pleasure for our team to be able to say that we get to work with companies who are creating such impactful businesses and ventures. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the alumni that have come through our FinTech program. I think the biggest thing to note at large is that there is a very wide umbrella of FinTech. And we want to work with solutions that address all sorts of elements of that, whether that be a CERN, who's doing more AI workflow digitization, or Gig Wage, which is focused more on kind of that independent freelance work, or Wevo, whether that be kind of more creating and improving conversations, more of those kind of back-end tools. We want to support solutions that best address our partner initiatives, which might have kind of been outlined a little bit in the email communications, but we're going to be kind of diving into that secret sauce in a little bit during this presentation. Now, to talk about the process a little bit and kind of to dovetail that with what I was mentioning just now about kind of how partners are looking to work with solutions in all areas, the biggest and initial step of our application period is what's called our challenge collection period and our sourcing opportunity, where we take a lot of time throughout the summer to onboard our partners, to understand their strategic initiatives, and to ultimately then go out and find startups within the ecosystem that best align. That's why we reach out to many of you in the past couple of weeks, where we see, based off of assessing those partner challenge areas, an opportunity for you to work closely with those partners. Now, that opportunity comes to fruition through the process of what's called matchmaking or judging, where your application is reviewed by different groups, whether that be external community members or the partners or the partners themselves, where you're actually pitching to them through an event called matchmaking for them to then ultimately generate the offer. The biggest point of emphasis there is that to be accepted into our program, you are not receiving an acceptance that just says, congratulations, you've been accepted into MassChallenge FinTech period. You are receiving an offer that outlines specifically what the partner is working on with you, the goal, the guarantee, the commitment, as well as the type of offer. So you'll know before even accepting the acceptance into the program who you're engaging with and what capacity. So we really create a specific scope on how we can help support you and really work towards those demonstration projects or pilot opportunities. Now, a lot of that is kind of come to light through our judging and matchmaking process. I know I touched on it a little bit just now, but really we want to support you through working with all these different groups by having your application judged by both our experts as well as our partners, and then really have those offers generated at the end of the judging process / beginning of the program. So as you head into the program, we really know that there's an opportunity to collaborate with the partners. Now, the program at a glance, January tends to be a month that's more kind of orienting and doing due diligence around how can you work best with the partner and what those goals really are ultimately going to be. February and March tends to be more about driving progress and initial conversations towards how you can work together. And then April, May, and June is all about execution and delivering results. So we as a team here want to support you by meeting with you on a month-to-month basis to ensure that both you and the partner are feeling supported towards whatever those project plans are. So I've talked a ton about the different partners within our network, and now I don't know if you've had the chance to look at them, but maybe who are they? Well, the FinTech Challenge partners for this upcoming year are the ones listed here. One of the things that I do want to note, if you have not seen in our Champion Challenge blog, is Manulife is the global company for John Hancock. So just wanted to let you know that John Hancock is part of our program. They're listed under Manulife. So really this goes to show kind of the breadth and depth of the different organizations that we're working with and the opportunities that we have. In a couple of slides, I'll also touch on kind of the challenge areas that they're looking to solve. And outside of these Champion Challenge partners, we also have a deep network of other community partners that want to participate in the program and be a resource to you. So from FinTech Sandbox to more legal partners like Goodwin, there's all sorts of resources that we have that are at the touch, that are available to you to ensure that as you're working with those larger champion partners throughout the program, you're receiving the support that you need to make sure you're doing a great job. So that challenge piece that I touched on earlier is a huge part about how we want to find companies. And source them and then have conversations around that. Some of the top challenges specifically for the FinTech program this year is customer experience and retention, ESG, advisor tools and insights, data management and digitization. And really, while those are our top challenge areas, there's a whole other list of other kind of more supplementary challenges that our partners have identified. So I highly would advise taking a look at the link attached there, the masschallenge.org/FinTech Challenges 2020, as this is a link to our challenge blog. Now, if you haven't had a chance to look at it yet, the challenge blog is a kind of a article that we publish every year that outlines the specific challenge areas that our partners are seeking to solve. Those partners of each of ours kind of write a specific blurb on how they're looking to work with startups. So you as a prospective applicant can use that resource as a way to tailor your application to the organization that you specifically want to work with. In the application itself, it's important to note that at the end, you will be identifying the top challenges and top partners that you want to work with. So the more that you can kind of have that kind of direction of who you want to work with, the better you'll have a chance of being partnered with them throughout the program. And you'll also be able to, on that link, again, check out the other challenges that are specifically happening in the program for this upcoming year. Now, kind of as a reminder, the applications for this upcoming FinTech cycle are due October 7th. The program is entirely free, meaning that there's no cost or equity to be involved in the program. But that said, we do have an application fee to avoid the inundation of additional applicants and for attending the session, but also for being involved with like our communications over the past couple of weeks about wanting you to have apply, I wanted to provide my promo code around waiving that fee. So if you're interested in applying, by all means, feel free to use that promo code, and we can make sure we waive the process there and get you going through the application stage. So with that, that's a kind of super high level overview of the FinTech program here. And I just want to open up the floor because, again, this time is for you folks. If you have any questions, feel free to either use the chat, which I'll be monitoring, or feel free to unmute yourself and we can kind of have a conversation. Any other questions from anyone on the chat here? I see. Is the program remote this year? Yep, the program will be entirely remote. There might be an opportunity or two to engage kind of in an in-person event, but wherever you're located, the program will be available remotely as well. How much time commitment would you say the program is? Great question. So in terms of time commitment, it really depends on what type of partner offer is generated upon acceptance into the program. So it's almost as if kind of any sort of traditional prospective customer that you obtain, you'll have to work through those initial phases of due diligence and then work up towards potentially a pilot. And the time commitment, I'd say kind of per partner is around 5 hours per week. But that said, if the engagement is a little bit more robust, whether that be kind of really a pilot out of the gate or some sort of demonstration project to start or co-development opportunity, the time commitment could change. But it really kind of depends. But on average, it is about 5 hours per week. And yes, Daniel, I'll be sending the recording for this session out to those who attended and to others as well. Cool. Well, I think the last piece of information I'm going to provide, I see we have one other question, but before I answer that, is the biggest emphasis I can provide right now as you go through the opportunity is if you would like to apply, make sure to articulate your mission and traction throughout the application. This enables you to be highlighted and really kind of shine to our partners as they're looking to assess the opportunity for them to work with you. But really, the FinTech program at large offers an immense, easygoing opportunity where you can get warm connections to those enterprises that specifically align. So a few other questions here. We are a data and security exchange startup. For pilot, should we be proposing a specific application project? Or is it better to just use case related to the challenges? I would say the latter, keep it use cases related to the challenges. But as you go through those initial rounds of judging, you can kind of determine how you want to engage. And then the other question, are there other cohort-wide activities as well to just interactions directly with partners? Yep, totally. So while you have to receive an offer of acceptance to be in the program, you can specifically gain other partnership opportunities with those community partners or other champion partners. That's a huge part of what we do, where outside of just enabling you to work with the partners that you're currently working with, we do want to give you exposure to the other enterprises as well. Cool. Well, with that note, everyone, I'm going to give you all 6 minutes back here. But again, thank you very much, everyone, for the time here and for everything that you've done to express interest in the FinTech program and MassChallenge at large. If you have any questions at any point, as Dara mentioned here, feel free to reach out to verticals at masschallenge.org, and we'd be more than happy to get those addressed. And the other question that I received here is, if we already have participated in MassChallenge in another program, can we still participate in FinTech? 100%. 100%. As long as there's a partner that is interested in working with you, then there's opportunity to engage. And if anything, participating in other accelerator programs at large really provides a leg up to being able to demonstrate that you can work with partners in that accelerated timeline. Great. Well, on that note, thank you again, everyone. Have a great rest of the week and reach out with any questions.